बच्चों, how are you doing? I hope you all are doing fine. So let's start the new chapter, Phases of the Earliest Society. 1. So what are the learning points in this chapter बच्चों? Learning point you have to, under that you are going to learn about the Stone Age and life of the primitive man. Are you excited to know about? Let's start the chapter. The primitive human is supposed to have evolved from the apes, and he learned to walk on two legs and they perform various types of work with his arms. He evolved various tools and weapons to use against wild animals and survive in an hostile environment. He used his brain to improve his living conditions. Can you see evolution of man in this picture? Sites. Sites are places where the remains of things, tools, pots, buildings, etc. were discovered. These were made, used and theft behind people. These may be found on the surface of the earth, buried under the earth, or sometimes even underwater. The early human did not know how to produce his food. He wandered in group in search of food and shelter. A group generally consisted of a few men, women and children who stayed together for their safety and survival. The group hunted wild animals and gathered fruits, roots, nuts and seeds. When the resources of plant and animal food got exhausted in one area, the group moved to another one. It was the beginning of the earliest societies. The Stone Age. Humans have passed through various stages of development. You can see in that picture also, which can be judged from the evolution of its tools and implements. Anthropologists, on the basis of tools and implements, have divided the Stone Age into three stages. Number 1, Paleolithic age, and number 2, Mesolithic age, and number 3, Neolithic age. So Paleolithic or the Old Stone Age. The word Paleolithic comes from the Greek word paleo, meaning old, and lithos, meaning stone. This age began around 5 lakh BC and continued up to 10,000 BC. That is till about 12,000 years ago. In this period, the early man used crude tools made of stone. In India, such stone tools have been discovered at the following main sites: the Sohan Valley, the tributary of the Indian River, the Upper Jhelum Valley, Shimla Hills, Sirsa, Bias and Banganga valleys, Nivasa and Pravara valleys, the tributaries and the Narmada River, Narmada Valley, Tapi Valley, Godavari Valley, Malaprabha and Ghatprabha valleys, the tributaries of the Krishna River, Chambal Valley, Bilan Valley, Tinveli and other places in Tamil Nadu. And now we have this map. Yes, you have to just look at this and observe. Did you know Australopithecus and ancestors of modern humans and Homo erectus were mainly present in the lower Paleolithic age? We find evidences of Neanderthal man using fire in the middle Paleolithic age and the upper Paleolithic period. Neanderthal man disappeared and was replaced by a variety Homo sapiens such as Cro-Magnon man and Grimaldi man. Now we are going to read about Mesolithic or the Middle Stone Age. This period of the Stone Age gets its name from two Greek words. One is meso, meaning middle, and lithos, meaning stone. This age is also known as microlithic age. 10,000 to 8,000 BC was a period of transition between the Paleolithic and the Neolithic age. Stone tools found during this period are generally tiny and are called microliths. Microliths were probably stuck on the handles of bone or wood to make tools such as saws and sickles. At the same time, older varieties of tools continued to be in use. Neolithic age or the New Stone Age. The word Neolithic comes Greek word neo, meaning new, and lithos, meaning stone. This age began around 8,000 BC, and the tools in this age were much sharper than the ones used in the Mesolithic period. Let's do it. Take an outline map of India and mark the places where core, flake and blade tools have been found in India. Use red of lower Paleolithic sites, yellow for middle Paleolithic sites and green for upper Paleolithic sites. Okay, this is an art integration activity. So now we are going to read about the life of the primitive man. The primitive human lived by hunting and food gathering. He wandered around in search of food and he preyed on wild animals and collected edible plants, fruits, roots, berries, etc. From the jungles, he used stone tools for hunting animals, chopping meat, cutting wood and digging roots and tubers. He consumed raw flesh of animals, birds and fish. He supplemented its food from forest food products, and he also caught fish from streams, etc. Thus, he was totally dependent on nature for his survival. To protect himself from cold and rain, the early man wore skins of animals or barks of trees. To protect himself from the vagaries of weathers, and wild animals, he took shelter in caves and rocks shelters or up in the thick trees. Humans make tools and weapons. So this time has come when they started making tools and weapons. The primitive human was weaker than ferocious wild animals, being afraid of them. He lived in groups, and he began to make tools and weapons to use against his enemies and to obtain his food. He used natural objects like sharp pieces of wood, branches of trees and stones to kill his enemies, and the flint, a steel grey stone, was hard enough to chip off and produce sharp edges. The stone weapons included crude axes, spears, knives, hammers and digging tools. These weapons and tools served many purposes, including cutting, killing animals and removing their skin, digging the earth, etc. Such implements have been found along the river beds in Shivalik, foothills of the Himalayas, Punch and Jammu and Deccan Plateau. Now we are going to read about techniques of making tool making. Right? Stone tools were probably made using two different techniques. Number one, stone on stone. In this, the stone from which the tool was to be made, also called the core, was held in one hand, and another stone which was used as a hammer was held in another hand. The second stone was used to strike off flakes from the first till the required shape was obtained. And now we have to read about the second one in pressure flaking. In this, the stone to be chipped was placed on a firm surface such as a rock. A stone sharpened from one end was kept on the first stone. Then another stone was stuck hard on the blunt surface of the second stone. This was done till the first stone of desired shape was obtained. Right? Okay. Now humans discover fire. Wow, discovery of fire. Towards the end of the Paleolithic age, humans discovered fire, which brought a revolutionary change in his life. So he began using fire to keep himself warm, to get light in his dark cave, to scare away wild animals, to roast his food. So many things he can do, he could have done with fire, you know. And early rock paintings. Now we are going to read about this. In the early stages of development, humans lived in caves and they started drawing rough figures on the walls and ceilings of the caves. So he painted pictures of wild animals in action. Such drawings have been found in Bhimbetka caves near Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh in India. Humans carved these figures in his tools also. He made ornaments from bones, ivory and beautiful stones. These pieces of art depicts the customs, rights and aesthetic sense of the early human. You can see these pictures which are created by early human. Okay, did you know Bhimbetka in present days Madhya Pradesh is an old site which caves and rock shelters. People chose these natural caves because they provided shelter from the rain, heat and wind. These rock shelters are close to the Narmada Valley. Now we are going to read about religion of the primitive humans. The primitive man was exposed to the vagaries of weather and nature, and he was scared of diseases and epidemics. He strongly believed that every object of nature had a spirit. Out of fear, he began worshipping nature and appeasing these spirits. Some of the features of the beliefs of the Paleolithic man are mentioned below. So these are: number one, he worshipped his ancestors after their death, and he buried the dead along with his tools and eatables because he believed that the dead soul would need those articles in the next world. He was afraid of lightning and thunder and believed that these phenomena were the expression of divine wrath. He believed in magical powers. Case study. Now you have to do one case study that again Paleolithic sites have been discovered at many places in the southern India. In fact, the Deccan contains the earliest races of mankind which are believed to have migrated from Africa long ago. Early men in India originated in South India, as the peninsular plateau enjoyed favorable climatic conditions at the time and offered congenial living conditions. The sites belonging to the early Stone Age in the Deccan include Narsinghpur in the Narmada Valley in central India, Navasa on the banks of river Pravara and a tributary of the Godavari in the Maharashtra, Gidalur and Krimpudi in Andhra Pradesh, and Jalahali on the bank of Kaveri river in Karnataka. Number 5, several places like Vada, Madurai, Atirampakam, Manajan, Karan, etc. near Madras, modern Chennai. All these places abound in different kinds of stone tools. Navasa is a typical site of Middle Paleolithic age, and it was a popular habitation of this man. In the Upper Paleolithic age, tools became a bit more refined. A major development in this age was the use of bone tools. For example, ornamental sticks, fishing harpoons and pointed spears, etc. During Mesolithic age, around 8000 BC, great climatic changes occurred throughout the world as the population was growing and the pressure on local resources increased. Groups of people became more mobile. A major change in this period was the development of bow and arrow. Other tools too became smaller and more refined. These were known as microliths, and Adamgarh, situated on the banks of Narmada river in Madhya Pradesh, contains several rock shelters where such microliths have been discovered. Cave paintings was also associated with the Mesolithic culture. Rock shelters and caves have been found in the Vindhyachal. These caves abound in paintings wherein scenes of hunting, dancing and activities of war, etc. are depicted on the walls. So, hostile, word brain and having very strong feelings against something. Prey, hunt and kill for food, and vagaries, which is unexpected or unusual changes in a situation. Ferocious is very aggressive and violent. Now we have some exercises to do as usual. After every chapter we have this. So in the first one you have to take the correct answer. Some options are given, choose the right one. In second one you have to fill in the blanks. The blanks you have to fill with the help of your chapter. Statements are taken from your chapter only. Number 3, write true or false. Check the statement. If the statement is relevant to your chapter and is correct, so then you will write true, otherwise false. Answer the following questions briefly. You have to write the answer of these questions in 3-4 lines in brief only, and in 5th one you have to write the answers in detail. Okay. Skills enrichment zone, where you have to quick response, look at 2 pictures given below and state which one A or B could be put to better use and in what ways. Fun activity. In early societies, stone tools were the main means for survival. Do you use any stone tool in the present day? Present day time, are you using any tool? Look around your house and find out what stone tool we still use and for what purpose. Activity. Collect the pictures of primitive human regarding his activities and paste them in your scrapbook. And the B part, the another activity is draw pictures of the tools and weapons used by the early man in your notebook. Out of the box, bachcho, what you have to do? How do you think the early humans used fire? And in what ways the discovery have helped them? Think about and have fun. Enjoy.